A lot of us talk about the US. How many of us are aware that in American public libraries, some books are forbidden? A book like To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, no public institution puts it there for display. And these are very interesting books. But the one that you're all familiar with is George Orwell's Animal Farm. But in America, in a public library, no, you don't have it there because they know how it will affect your mind.
How's it going, mommies? My name is Gorgeous. It always feels amazingly good to be back on the channel. Happy New Year. How did you celebrate your Christmas? Please let me know. Mine was so terrible. I was in the room treating malaria. About this video, I had the opportunity to be invited to join the annual Head Teachers Retreat, the Western Region Head Teachers Retreat program. So Nana Komna Nketia showed up. He was invited to come and give a speech, and I thought this information is useful, and I have to put everything together just to show you. This is not only useful to Ghanaians but to the entire continent because of some of the things he touched on. So you're going to go ahead and see this video. And also last year, that's a part of last year where we learned HSA. I spent a lot of time promoting some of the schools here in Ghana and discovering talent, giving exposure to students. This year, 2022, I am hoping to do something really interesting. In fact, the theme is no school left behind. No school left behind. So I'm trying as much as I can to touch a lot of schools and bring you interesting things over here, as I also infusing the GES agenda to help promote some of the things they want to promote about their high schools and all that. Okay, so I want to begin this year with really interesting program, a very interesting program. I'm going to make that big announcement very soon, so just keep an eye over here. And if you do appreciate what is happening here, please give me an endorsement by hitting the subscribe button. I'll be so grateful.
When I was very young, just out of the university, I taught in Tadisco. And there was a woman, Reverend Minister, Methodist is Reverend Minister, who lived with us. And she tried to put the title teacher on me. My God, I hated it. And I managed to escape. But at that time, I didn't understand what was really meant by a teacher. And when I came to understand what the word teacher means, then I realized that at that time, I didn't deserve it. And right now, there's only one single person that I call a teacher. And he's in Pataba, Jomro district. He's been a parliamentarian, he's been a minister, etc. But I still call him teacher. He's called Mr. Akas. Those of you who know him, you know, he used to be the deputy defense minister and all that at a point. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. So to be referred to as a teacher is a title to be conferred. It's not a title you just take. I saw some of the challenges we have in education, generally in the country. These are the challenges we have. Somebody has created definitions, and we fit ourselves into that person's definition. Just as the young, beautiful girl from Archbishop said, she referred to me as Nkesia the Fourth. Please, the Fourth is so special to me. I revere him so much that whenever I'm referred to as the Fourth, I don't deserve it. But it's because she doesn't know her history, just as most of us don't. Sometimes I tell people that the Fourth was in prison longer than Kwame Nkrumah, and they go like this. He was 2 weeks longer in prison than Kwame Nkrumah. But if you don't know your history, then you put me in prison along with the Fourth. And among all of them who were in the struggle for independence, he was the only one who was tortured every day, beaten into a coma. But you don't know your history. So, and he created with background support even the term Bixes. And then the young lady was referring to Alexander the Great. Alexander wasn't great. He killed. He maimed people. You know, what is greatness about killing? Is COVID great? COVID the Great. So this tells you about our own set and who defines what is great and what is not great. The definition. 2, Alexander was a big drunkard. He was saved 6 times by his African general who was as dark-skinned as I was. But they don't teach you that. You are the ones in the education industry. It's an industry, but this is the maiden retreat. Honestly, if she had told me, I would have created special time to be part of the retreat. I don't have to sleep here. I'll go to a schedule and come back every day. But one thing I learned when I was coming up the steps, I have never thought about the education that you refer to yourselves as Ghana Education Service. Whenever I see the word service, my mind goes back to Mensa Saba. After he had done, just before when they went to England and then came back, the chiefs who were part of the Aborigines, said, look, this one has done so much work for us, and we need to find some money for him. Remuneration for the work he has done. Saba said, and I'm paraphrasing, there's a little bit of the thought that is missing. He said, in serving my country, the land of my birth, I have no need for a reward. And we returned the money with that letter. Ghana, what we are all in as Africans and as Ghanaians is that we are in the second phase of our liberation struggle. The first phase is gone, and we can see where we have reached. Sayeko, Sayebo, and some people will say, our education is about the maintenance of privileges and social differentiation. And my mind always goes back to one of the greatest 5 to 10 minute speech I've ever heard in my life, which people listen and shout, but they never meditate on it. In about 3-4 months' time, we'll be going back to that speech. And Nkrumah comes in and says, the independence of Ghana. There's my man here who can speak it better than I do. The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked with it. Then blah 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 blah. You people will be shouting But he says a lot of things within that 10 minutes that most of us forget. And what he talks about is that we need the new African. The new African. The new African. And he says it, but people don't think about it. Who's the new African? And anytime I see the Ghanaian motto, freedom and justice, they are not empty words. They exhibit the phenomenon of consciousness. They exhibit you and your thoughts. And for me, education, the industry you are engaged in is the consciousness industry. Education is about the mind. Nothing more, nothing less. The structures that you are showing, it's not... One of my friends, Professor Higgins' wife, she's in Zuma, and she was among the first Ghanaians to go to the medical school, Legon. And when Professor Eastman them were saying that we can't train, we can't train doctors in Ghana, we are not prepared. Somewhere along the line, according to her story, Nkrumah told them, go and teach the medicine on the trees. We need to have our own doctors. So when you are talking about builders and motorcycles and so on and so forth, I've been sitting down there. I'm not saying that they are not necessary, but I've been smiling to myself. The building won't create consciousness. Just imagine in Crawford around 1900. Imagine the trees, imagine the monkeys and blah, blah, blah. That is where the Mutu, the Kwame Nkrumah. So, the consciousness. White man has his reality, the Chinese has its reality. What is your reality? And that is the reality that must produce that consciousness. That's a challenge to all of you here. And that by the time you walk away, if you're going to have this retreat, unique, because it's never happened before. This is the maiden retreat, from my understanding. And you are going to go back as business as before. Then this lady here has wasted my time. As for her time, I don't know. But not just my time, but has wasted my life. A lot of us talk about the US. How many of us are aware that In American public libraries, some books are forbidden. This is the exemplar of what? Freedom. You can read and LGBT and LGBTQ plus, minus, division, etc. But a book like To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, no public institution puts it there for display. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. And these are very interesting books. But the one that you're all familiar with is George Orwell's Animal Farm. You enjoy reading Animal Farm. You enjoy studying. But in America, in a public library, no, you don't have it there because they know how it will affect your mind. Look, everything that you do, news, they're all in the indoctrination processes. And if you don't have a critical mind, you accept rubbish, somebody's rubbish, and take it with value. If you go down towards Kojokrom from here, and I believe most of you know the road, when you get to Ketan Junction, you'll see a building on the left. But since we don't preserve and maintain certain things, but that is where Kingsley Hayford lived. And it was there that he instituted a society in Ghana called the Gold Coast National Research Institute. It's not just that, but what's the name of it? The motto was to remove the white man's standpoint from the black man's point of view. Today we talk about African-centered education, we are talking about Afrocentricity, blah, 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 blah. They were talking about it at that time here in Sigeni Takrady, to emancipate thoughts, to free our minds from its colonization. The Western region education, the indoctrination industry must come out unique from this conference. If you don't do it, then you failed. You failed the railwaymen of Iskado. You failed Nkrumah. You failed Park Grant. You failed Iris Blay. Don't do business as usual. Business as usual has gotten Ghana this, I don't know whether this far or this backward. I don't know. You can take it the direction we want, or even to bring us into the ocean. Do you want it? The challenge is you, and that is part, and should be part of the retreat, the curriculum development of the region. What contribution can you make from your schools, from the villages that you look after? The gun in the hands of a person without conscience is just like an armed robber, just an armed robber. Because it's the mind. I'm sure most of you have read Carter Woodson's The Miseducation of the Negro, a book he wrote in 1935 in the States. They warned Carter Woodson, if you publish this book, you'll be sacked from your job. He managed to publish it in 1937. Who controls your mind? What controls your mind? What education do you receive that structures your mind in a particular way, that makes you think in a particular direction? Somebody was shouting democracy, one of them, democracy, do you know what it is? Come to the Chief's Palace if you want to know democracy. Go and read Rattray about democracy in the Kumasi Hills Palace. You think what we are doing is democracy? Please, somebody has defined democracy and given it to you, and you are following it. Trust and obey, for there is no other way. Then you are following it. And paying for it to them. We are living with somebody else's definition of his democracy, and he's proselytizing it, and you accept it. Do you want to be like that? Do you want to be in the future to be like that? No oppressor will provide the oppressed any real knowledge that will liberate you from the oppression. If I'm benefiting from you, how can I tell you, give you the education that will make you revise? It's not possible. It is absolutely not possible. The mosquito will always tell you that, your blood is natural for me to suck. Keep it there. Because I benefit from it. This ministry, education ministry, or they call it education service, is the most powerful one in this country. It's just that you may not be conscious of it. Whoever is in charge of education is in control of the destiny of this nation.
Welcome to High Schools Africa. Prove that your school is the best.